Hello there and welcome along to Hive Live Extra, your place for exclusive reaction and analysis following Watford's 4-1 victory over Preston North End. The goal scorers in this game, Quina, Troy Deeney from the spot, Nathaniel Chalobah and João Pedro. Here in the studio with me to talk through those goals and the rest of the action, it's a big warm welcome to the Director of Football Manager, Miles Jacobson. Nice to see you.
Hi, lovely to be here.
And also fresh from commentary duty, Tommy Mooney. Nice to see you.
Nice to see you too after a win.
Yes, certainly so. We'll come to you in a second, Tommy, but Miles, that was a lot of fun, wasn't it?
It's just lovely to be at a game of football. I mean, it's going to be so much better when the supporters are back next week, because it's a bit like being at an under-23 friendly today, because just no one there, no atmosphere at all. But what great performance, interesting to see the new formation and that working. And even when Andre went off injured and João came on, we could have switched back to the 4-3-3, but kept it at 4-4-2. And we kept going. I mean, for me, I'm sure we've got a Watford man in the match, but their keeper did really, really well for me and kept out a few others. Could have been a cricket score. Yeah,
we'll talk more about individual performances in a moment. But Tommy, I suppose Miles nailed it at the top there. The only thing missing from a day like today at Vicarage Road is the fans. So the fact they're coming back in 7 days, it's just a cherry on the top, really, isn't it?
Yeah, well, we said beforehand, fingers crossed this is the last time that there's no supporters in the stadium, and they would have loved it. Hopefully they were watching at home and still enjoyed it, but from next Saturday, I'm sure it'll be an awful lot better. Yeah,
but for you on commentary duty as well, compared to the last two games, especially the one at Ashton Gate, it was a bit like night and day, wasn't it? There was so much more to talk about today. I could see the relief on your face.
So much more enjoyable, yeah, to see us having shots on goal, let alone the goals. No, it's so much better performance today.
Yeah, well, we'll talk about the goals shortly, but for now, we're all about exclusive reaction here on Hive Live Extra. So with that, let's talk to Domingos Quina.
Tom, well done today. First goal of the season. How pleased to get a goal like that, almost like a little centre-forwards goal, but getting in at the back post, is that something that playing that role today, you need to be getting on the end of those things?
Yeah, I got Troy, they're always telling me to get in the box when the ball is wide, when it's not in my side. And I'm getting used to playing a winger now. It's not my position, but I guess I have to do it for the team. And I'm happy. I think that's my first goal in the box.
First goal inside the box, yeah? Yeah, we're used to you whacking them in from 25 yards, aren't you? But they all count, and they're the bread and butters.
Yeah, so that just showed I need to get there more often. Every time the ball is wide, I need to gamble, try to get the second ball, or if I can get the touch first time to score. Yeah.
So it's such an important part of the game, and for the midfielders to help the strikers out by getting in on the end of those things. So those types of goals for strikers probably are just as pleasing as the world is in the top corner. You have to get used to these.
I need to get used to it. Like goal is a goal, and I know Isma with his quality. Every time the ball is wide, he's gonna try to cross the ball, and the striker always there. But me, I just need to gamble, try to get in the box and score.
Certainly, the game seemed to open up in the second half today, and lots of shots at goal. Was it fun to play in that second half?
Yeah, second half I was having fun, but first half I think we did well. So we just need to be more clinical, ruthless around the box. I think we create some chances in the first half to score, but we didn't. And second half we did it better.
What changed at half time? Did the manager change anything, or what did he say to you? Because after the goal in the first half, it didn't kick on and couldn't get that second goal, but suddenly, as you say, second half seemed to be much more on the front foot.
No, we just talk as a team. We just said to each other, we need to, because we're controlling the game, we're creating chances but we're not scoring. Same thing like when we play Bristol, we just create chances but we don't score. And second half, we just came out, everyone just like on it. We get a chance, let's do our best to score, and we scored the second goal, the game just opened up.
Certainly did. Must mention the score of the third goal. Your big mate Nate is getting on the score sheet. I think we said to him that's his first league goal for us for 7 years. I know he's been away in between, but how pleased are you for him to get on the score sheet as well?
I'm very pleased. Nate is like a brother for me since I joined Watford. He took me on like his brother, look after me. And to be fair, personally, I think he should have more goals than just one, but I'm happy for him to score that, and it was a good goal as well.
And what's it about playing at home? Because we haven't, it's not happening away from home yet, but that's 6 wins out of 7 on home soil. Next week we've got the fans back or a few fans back to help roar us on as well. But what is it about playing at this place that is helping us so far this season?
I think we just feel like at home when we play here. Everyone is comfortable, and I think with the fun it'll be much better. We need them. We need the sport. It's different playing with empty stadium. Sometimes you can switch off. You think it's training or something like that. With fun, it will help a lot.
So the 4-1 victory here at Vicarage Road, the biggest margin the Hornets have won by so far this season. And Miles, with that, I think that's what's so satisfying about a performance like this, is that even when we had the advantage in previous games, it's not that they took their foot off the gas, but there had been an element of that. Whereas with this Watford team today, they just kept going. They were relentless, weren't they?
So if you look at the players that I grew up watching, I was watching in my 20s, you had Paul Robinson, you had Sir Tommy Mooney sitting just here now, and the reason that they were loved by Watford fans was because of their passion. Troy is the closest that we've had to that in the last decade, and he was back today, and that passion shone through. And the players, they didn't look like they were going through the motions. They actually looked like they wanted to win. Whereas I think with some of the other performances so far this season, the talent's been there, but the dedication maybe hasn't been there. But today, they just looked like they wanted to win. And with the skill that we've got and with the squad that we've got, we should be capable of scoring 4 or 5 goals every week. It's nice to see that. It was nice to see that happening today. And as you said earlier, Emma, just stepping up that extra gear. I don't think we're at 5th gear yet. I don't think we're anywhere close. I think today was 3rd gear. But other games this season we've been 1st or 2nd.
Yeah.
Imagine what happens when we get to 4th or 5th.
Yeah, wow. Tommy, just picking up on what Miles has said there, how major do you think Troy's presence was in that? Just away from the tactical side of things and the fact that he was playing in a partnership of 4-4-2, just having him on the pitch and his leadership as a captain, what do you think he made a big difference today? Yeah,
I think it does. I think we spoke before the game about how vital it is, not just on the pitch but in the dressing room, to have him in around. And he's the talisman. He's the go-to guy, and he lived up to that today for me. There'll be disappointments for him, certainly missing the header. I know I'd still be beating myself up, and Troy will do exactly the same. We're quite similar characters. And but he's got off the mark, and that's the most important thing. For a striker, you want to get your first game of the season. That's his first start, and he's got underway. Yeah, it was a penalty. That doesn't bother me whatsoever. It doesn't say in the statistics that it's a penalty when you look back on your career. Yeah. So that won't bother him at all. But I think the players all around, whether it's to do with Troy or not, I thought Andre Gray was excellent in the first 20 minutes.
Such a shame that his game was cut short, because he was really up for it, wasn't he?
But that's his game. He's an explosive character. He's explosive, and you run the risk of hamstrings and other muscle injuries. But other players all around the pitch took responsibility of their roles, whether it be in 3-5-2 or a 4-4-2, whatever it's got to be. Players have got to take responsibility, and I think today, all around, was the first time that they did that.
Yeah, before we move on to other individual performances, Miles, just on the 4-4-2 and the formation of this Watford side, how impressed were you by the system we used today?
I was surprised and delighted that it worked. For me, I think with the squad that we've got, 4-3-3 is the most likely formation, because you've got Sarr on the one wing and you've got JP on the other wing. How wrong was I today? We switched to 4-4-2 and it worked. I mean, Troy and Andre obviously know each other quite well. They know each other's game quite well. So there was that in the first half. But I was then surprised when João came on that we didn't switch to 4-3-3. We stuck to 4-4-2. And João played really well off Troy as well. I thought that looking for the runs, and the players seemed today to be getting annoyed with themselves when they made mistakes. It felt more like a league match than a friendly today, and that was good to see as well. As Tommy rightly said, that there hasn't been a lot of noise on the pitch. There hasn't been a lot of talking. Today, what I noticed was Ben Foster was talking a lot. There were points where Cabba was talking a lot. When Sirialta, is that how you pronounce
Sirialta,
it?
yeah.
When he came on, he was talking a lot as well. So you're getting a lot more noise on the pitch, and that can only help as well. But yeah, the formation. There are times that I love being wrong. We've just won 4-1. Before the game, I said, "Oh, 4-4-2. What are we doing?" Completely wrong.
Yeah, there were a number of players out there, Tommy, today which showed their versatility as well. Domingos Quina, another one, and great for him that he got on the score sheet too.
And I thought he was bright at Bristol in spells, where today he extended those spells. And you know, we've played 4-4-2 without a left footer in the team.
Yeah.
So our left back and our left winger were right-footed. That's a tough role, and I think it didn't slow the play up. We still attacked down the left-hand side, and the most pleasing thing for me was, you know, GT used to say it all of the time, that track the back post, and Quina opens the scoring today by tracking the back post. They're tap-ins, they're easy goals, but it's not easy to get in those positions because you think of so many different things as the ball's moving. And for Sarr and Quina to link up like they did with their crosses and trapping that back post was really pleasing for me.
Yeah.
And even Ben Wilmot playing at left back as well when he came on. You've got a centre back playing at left back, and he got a couple of decent crosses in as well.
I think it helps when you 4-1 up. It's
True.
so much easier. The game of football is so much easier when you're 4-1 up than it would be if it was 1-0. But I like to say I thought all over the field today, and that flexibility and versatility that we have in the squad, we could have changed that. We weren't sure at the time whether bringing Wilmot on would go to 3 centre halves, whether he would keep it as a 4. So I think it's all positive signs for the squad.
It's hard, isn't it, to keep picking out individuals because Chalobah, we haven't spent a lot of time talking about. Yeah, he got on the score sheet today quite significantly. João Pedro getting another one. Miles, I know you're bursting to talk about Ngakia.
I just thought Ngakia was magnificent once again today. I mean, what a brilliant signing. This kid only played a few times for West Ham, comes to Watford straight in the first team, has done really well as a wing back. Today he was playing as a more orthodox right back, but he was linking up well with Sarr. He was linking up well with Nate in centre of midfield as well. And I can't remember him putting a foot wrong today. And he's a kid. I mean, you know, he's 18, 19.
And I think with that, what's so exciting is what the impact of a crowd will have on his game as well. He's doing that without anyone in here singing his name, Tommy. So, I mean, you can speak. When you've got a crowd in there as well, chanting your name around Vicarage Road, it's really, really exciting, is it, to think what he could achieve this season?
Yeah, I think I could honestly say that without supporters in the stadiums that I played in, I wouldn't have enjoyed my career as much. It's as simple as that. You know, it's really difficult to play in an empty stadium because you can hear people around the stadium and on the pitch that you wouldn't normally hear. And it will be the same when there's only 1,000 or 2,000 in stadiums. But it will be different and it will be better because the players thrive on. They'll be. I never had social media, but they'll be on social media tonight wanting to read what Watford supporters thought of their performance. Perhaps at Bristol on Wednesday night, they might not check that so quickly. You know, so that's how it is. It's the modern game, and we've got through this now, I think, and having the supporters back in the stadium. I'm looking forward to walking in here next week and just seeing people in the stadium when I walk in and come to the studio. So what must the players think?
Yeah, absolutely.
It's going to be fabulous for them, and they're through it.
Yeah, Miles, you can give us an insight on that. You know, you've watched an awful lot of this Watford side at home yourself. You've been lucky enough to see it in the flesh today. But what will it mean to the fans at home, especially knowing that it's just around the corner, their return?
I know today for me this was incredible. It's one, being out the house is pretty nice. I've been stuck at a table making computer games for the last 6 months. So there's been a lockdown going on around me, but I've just been there myself. But yeah, the Vic's a very special place. I've been coming here since I was 7, which is a very long time ago now, and you know it's a second home for a lot of people, myself included. So just coming back in here today, and yes, it's empty and it's not the same, but you still get a buzz every time you come here, and hopefully next week with a couple of thousand fellow Orns in here for a start. I hope I get a ticket in the ballot. But I'm looking forward to seeing what songs Roy and the 1881 have got ready to go for some of the new players. Good luck with Troost-Ekong and Ngakia and getting those into songs. But can't wait to join into those. Thankfully, I don't have to come up with them anymore. But it's just going to be brilliant, and I guarantee anyone who does manage to get a ticket to come here, you're just going to love to be back, because me loving being back today in an empty stadium.
Yeah.
It does feel strange. There's no getting away from the fact that it feels strange, but having some back is going to be better than nothing, and I know how much. I know how much the players are looking forward to having supporters back. I know how much the people who work at the club are looking forward to having people back, because it makes their lives and jobs a lot more meaningful as well.
So now it's time for a little bit of fun here in the Hive Live studio, and with that, with me, I have the Director of Football Manager, Miles Jacobson. We've got the fun and games in a minute, but first things first, tell us a bit about Football Manager. Most people out there know exactly what it is, but for the few that might be watching this that don't.
So basically, all of us football fans, we all think we know more than the head coach and the managers of our club, because we spend our time phoning up 5 Live rather than Hive Live and Talk Sport and going to the pub after the match and writing on mailing lists and WhatsApp groups about this player should have played, this player should have played. We give people the chance to find out whether they are actually any good at that or not. So Football Manager is a game where you manage the team rather than control the players. You do all the tactics, you do all the transfers, you do all the training, you deal with the board, you deal with the media, and find out whether you do actually know what you're talking about.
Okay, well that's the game explained. On with the fun here in the studio. So if you've been keeping across our social media channels, you would have seen some of our first team players having a go at this. So both Miles and Tommy are going to have some player ratings from the new Football Manager game put in front of them. And from those statistics, those ratings, they have to work out who the player is. So Miles, no pressure, as the creator and face of Football Manager. I imagine you should be pretty good at this.
See, I don't think I'm going to be, because I'm not allowed to go anywhere near the Watford stats in the game, the Watford attributes, because people would just accuse me of bias. But I do tend to play as Watford.
Right.
But I'm just worried that some of the players will come up will be ones that I sell at the start of the game, to try and bring in some younger players.
That could be a more interesting conversation.
Yeah.
Which ones would you sell?
Let's talk about that after. If only we could go to the pub afterwards, Tommy. We could talk about it in the pub afterwards. But.
Right, with that then, Miles, tell us what have you got in front of you first.
So I reckon that this. Are we working together here? Okay.
Yes, that is the plan.
So I reckon this is a midfielder, because the marking and tackling isn't great.
So these are technical
Marking and
ratings.
tackling are low. It's got to be a wide player.
Yeah, because dribbling is good as well. So I reckon we should go for Ismaïla Sarr. But
I think it's more likely to be the other side.
Okay.
João Pedro.
Go for it.
Do you think?
Miles, call yourself the expert here. Come on, Tommy Mooney, you're bang on right. It's João Pedro.
Told you.
Nice work.
I win at Monopoly every week. I'm really good.
So there we go. We can see his technical, mental and physical ratings. The other two you didn't even need to look at. So well done, you two. So 1 out of 1. Excellent teamwork actually between you two there. Forget Andre Gray, Troy Deeney. This is the next partnership coming out of Watford Football Club. On to the next one. I won't speak too soon. What have we got in front of you there, Miles? Take us through.
Well, I reckon we're looking at the technical stats now. I reckon we've got a centre back. Pretty consistent. I'm going to ignore long throws, because I know that tends to be a computer generated attribute rather than something that our researchers rate.
Secrets here,
yeah,
Miles.
a little bit. But he's also all right at dribbling, and he's all right at crossing.
To a full back.
I still reckon it could be a centre back, because heading is strong. Although we do have a full back who is good at heading as well. We're in Adam Messina.
Okay. Or Ben Wilmot.
Ben Wilmot could be as
Played
well.
at full back today. Let's go with your one.
Okay, let's try Adam Messina first.
You've done it again. It's 2 out of 2. Adam Messina, congratulations.
Can we quit now? Quit now.
Well, so far so good here in the Hive Live studio. Miles and Tommy have 2 out of 2. Can they make it a full house? I need to get this independently verified, but I think if you do, you could go top of the leaderboard.
Okay.
So no pressure. Take us through the cards you've got in front of you, Miles.
Pressure. So, corners, crossing, dribbling, finishing, quite good. The thing that's weak is heading, which makes me think it's a central midfielder.
Okay.
Because a couple of them are quite short. They're still all taller than me, so I can actually say that. But long shots is throwing me, because when I first saw it, I thought it was Domingos Quina, but I would have thought he'd have higher long shots than that.
So it's not a goal-scoring midfielder, is that?
Yeah. So
I'm guessing if it was Chalobah, he hasn't scored after today for 7 years.
That's true, and he's decent.
So
he's
that would
decent
be lower.
marking. So should we go Nate? Because he's got high technique as well. And Nate's got pretty good technique.
What are the central midfielders? Is that
Capoue, Will Hughes? I don't think it's Will. Could be Garner. I reckon Nate's a good shout. You know.
Go on then. I'll go with you.
Okay, Nate Chalobah.
I'm afraid to say you're wrong.
Miles.
It's okay. You get another chance.
Okay.
On to the next card. So not 100% record,
Wow,
but still time
these are good mental
to make
stats.
it 3 out of 3. So what have you got next? Mental stats.
Mental stats, yeah. So
So it's
aggression, 12.
definitely a centre midfielder. Your confidence is
I'm
centre midfielder.
absolutely confident it's a central midfielder. Well, unless it's a fullback with bad heading, which it could be. So you got me thinking now.
Strong mentally.
Yep.
I'd go Will Hughes
Okay.
over Quina, if that's what you're thinking.
I was actually thinking Clevs,
Okay. You never threw him up earlier.
but Clevs would have better long shots than that. Do you want to go Will? I'm happy to go Will.
Go Will Hughes.
Will
He
Hughes.
was in the studio a couple of weeks ago. He was funny. Let's go Will Hughes. that's my reasoning.
Can I just stop you for 1 sec before we go Will? 15 for flair.
Yeah, well, look at his Barnet.
Okay, we're going Will Hughes.
So we're locking
I'm not
it in.
arguing,
Based
yep.
on his personality, Will Hughes. He's obviously a very funny guy, because that is correct.
Yes.
Nice work.
Are we still top of the league?
I don't know, we're going to have to get that checked, but it's a good performance, Tommy, well done, and I expect no less from you.
But 15 flair for Will, I can only presume those are his trousers, because... But yeah, nice work. Well done, sir.
Well played.
To sum up then, final thoughts from us here in the studio. Miles, I think that puts us nicely 3rd in the table. When you look at the way things started today after Reading's victory, I think at one point we were down to 7th, and it's looking a lot healthier now, isn't it? Especially after Norwich drew. Had to get that in there, sorry.
And look, you think how many games there have been already. We all agree that we haven't been playing well. The season started today, as far as I'm concerned. We've got a 4-1 win. We could have got more. If we carry on playing like this for the rest of the season, everybody else better watch out. But you know, we've been playing badly, still picking up a few points. This is what we need to see now for the rest of the season.
Yeah, the expectation is going to be there, Tommy, isn't it? Different type of pressure then on Wednesday against Nottingham Forest, because those players now need to follow that up with the same levels.
Yeah, but the manager set the expectation early doors by saying what the goal for the season is, and we said at the time, I like that honesty. I'd rather have I usually said what I was thinking at the time and did what I wanted to do. I prefer people to be honest about it, and we've played much better today. We can still improve. I completely agree, Miles. We can still improve, and I think we will have better performances. We may well score more than 4 goals on a couple of occasions, but we're a quarter of the way in, and I'd rather win the last 12 games and be promoted than worry about what's happening now. I think the most important thing is we're gaining momentum.
Yeah, absolutely, and it's all going in the right direction, Miles, isn't it? When you think we've got fans back in the stadium in 7 days' time as well, if we can squeeze another 3 points in between now and then as well.
3 points against Forest would be
Yeah.
lovely. It's the home games. If we win every home game for the rest of the season, then I think we're probably up, right? So We can all dream. We can dream.
All right, well that brings us to the end of Hive Live Extra. Miles, Tommy, it's been an absolute pleasure. Look forward to seeing you both back here soon. We will be back on Wednesday evening, as we mentioned there. The Hornets in action once more, away from home this time against Nottingham Forest, on air from 7 o'clock with 45 minutes of Watford-focused build-up to that game. So watfordfc.com/Hive Live, the place for that. But from us here at Vicarage Road this evening, we very much enjoyed that one. We certainly hope you did too, and we look forward to seeing you again on Wednesday. Good night.
If you enjoy that, you'll love this. I'm lying.